girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I like the girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done.
All right, good morning. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the live stream. How we doing? Margin, as always, CJ. I am Pat. Dino. Barefoot Sailing Adventures. Chef Carlos. Carlitos. What's up, David? Mark? DP? Bruce? I don't know how to say your name. Kagri? From Turkey? Possibly. Morning, guys. Psyched to trade. All right. Oh, man. Well, today's already going to be a really big day for me. Big. Yeah. From yesterday into today, the account is up almost $25,000. Meta swing trade is up $7,000. Nvidia swing trade up almost 10. So it's gonna be a big day here. Here it is right here. Meta swing trade up 6,600. Nvidia swing trade up 9,300. So yeah, what a day. This was straight from the group. Congrats, guys, on Meta. We opened Meta yesterday around 12:24 p.m. Eastern. That was our Meta swing trade. We had those Tesla puts, and we have that Nvidia put right here. Nvidia July 26th. Teslas, and Meta. So congrats on those. Boom, baby. What a morning. Really nice trade setups. Really structured analysis behind them. Probably make a video about it today. So be on the lookout for that. If you guys want to see why I took those trades, what was the idea behind them, what was the technicals, all that good stuff, I will review all that. In video tonight. Open Meta around 325. Nice margin. Congrats on that one, man. Tashumbi, yeah. Appreciate that. Good morning, Tashumbi. All right. Well, we saw the same level reject again. So, same exact level reject again on the Nasdaq. 20,000, 20,030. We saw that 5630 level on the ES. Reject as well. This was one of our key levels, 5630. Very, just absolutely perfect rejection there. Intraday yesterday. So some absolutely beautiful rejections after the push up into those supplies. End of day, we had the Google and Tesla earnings causing the downside overnight. And we wake up today underneath 19,750. On the Nasdaq futures, and this is very, very important. Very important. What you're seeing right now is massively important. Right here. All right? Right here. This is big. The reason or the fact that we're sitting right under that 750 this morning is a big level. It's a big potential fade level, and there is little support below that level until about 200 points lower at 19,525. So this could be a continuation day. There's no doubt about it. If we stay under 19,750, there's no doubt that we can continue lower. We talked about this on the live stream yesterday. We said if the market does not reclaim key levels, the market will continue to go lower. Okay, this is the same thing we talked about on the upside. If the market continues to hold previous highs, turning those previous highs into new lows, then we'll continue to stair-step higher. Now, you are seeing this stair-step lower, and all you have to do is follow the trend on the market. So we have not broken and held above any previous rejection points. Again, yesterday, getting stuck underneath them. And this is going to continue to cause weakness on the market. And all we have to do is continue to follow these levels and follow the trend and continue to trade it until we're wrong, right? We'll keep on trading it until we're wrong, and then we'll flip if we have to. So very nice. Game plan was awesome yesterday. Congrats, guys, if you caught some of those rejections. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So press that like button. 800 people, 200 likes. Ouch. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let's start with the economic calendar here. Today, 9:45, we do have manufacturing PMI, so be aware of that. 15 minutes into open, we have manufacturing PMI at 9:45. 8:30 today, we have goods and trade balance, wholesale inventories. I don't think that we have too much there, too much action there at 8:30, but we'll be here live for it, so we'll see if anything happens. 9:45 today, you guys can see manufacturing PMI, services PMI, 10 o'clock home sales, 10:30 crude oil inventories, and then after close today, you got the President Biden speaking, and then you have FOMC members speaking at 4 o'clock. Tomorrow, GDP, unemployment claims, you guys can see right there, 8:30. That's tomorrow morning, so be aware of that if you take any swing trades today into tomorrow. And then Friday, we end the week with PCE price index. All right, so just a refresher there. Earnings calendar. We saw Tesla and Google report earnings last night. Both of them sort of, Tesla numbers not great. I think Google numbers were all right, but just sort of faded. If we zoom in here, obviously you can say some numbers were good, some numbers are not. I'm not here to argue about that, but obviously the reactions on the market definitely are showing that there's some downside. So Tesla downside, Google some downside. I think Enphase went up, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go ahead and take a look at these real quick. Enphase, not really. Enphase pretty much flat. Visa down, and Texas Instruments pretty much flat. So really not much on those earnings. Tesla down, Google down, and the rest of them sort of flat. So that's that on the earnings side. Tonight we have Chipotle. Anyone that loves Chipotle, I like it myself. I haven't really eaten it in a long time, though, I will say. Chipotle, I used to eat it in Miami a lot because there was one right next to my apartment in Miami. But in Naples, where I live now, it's pretty far away. I know they are building one right next to my house, though, so I might be there more often. Ford today as well, and that's really it for anything that's sort of popular, in my opinion. Tomorrow, American Airlines, Royal Caribbean, AbbVie, Honeywell, Southwest, some travel names, right? American Airlines, Royal Caribbean, and Southwest, some travel names there. Tomorrow after close, nothing that I really care about, and Friday 3 a.m. So really nothing else. What am I going to do with my 50K Tesla position? I'm going to continue to hold it, man. That's why I had Tesla puts. That's why I made some money on the downside. Hopefully, depending on, I know the expected move is about $20, so it's like right on the cusp. A long-term position is meant to be a long-term position. When you have shares, you don't sell it because there's a little bit of downside. That would be called a trade, not a long-term position. There's a very big difference there. I know some people can't understand that. But for me, when I invest in a company, I do not get scared and panic out of it because of one downside move. I know, hard to comprehend, but it is possible to do. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the futures analysis, and we will get an idea of what's going on here on the market. So you guys can see right here. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. And yesterday, we were talking about the 20,000 to 20,030 level, right? We talked about how we rejected this level on Monday. We talked about how this was rejections last week near Friday, right? And we talked about how this was previous support, right, back on Thursday and Wednesday of last week. So that was a very clear level. Yesterday, we had a little peak above it, right? A little peak above that level, but there was no solid hold above it, right? There was never a solid hold above it. We got a little squeezer through that level. When we came back to pull, right, when we pulled back to it, this is why we wait for the break and retest instead of chasing, right? If you chased the longs yesterday over 20,030 and you just started buying longs here because it's breaking through, you lost, right? And so this is why we always wait for the break, we wait for the retest, we wait for the consolidation, and we wait for that curl to start happening back higher. That never happened, right? We got a breakout and we got a pullback. We got our pullback, but look at what happened at this level. There was never any type of hold. This is the 5-minute chart. Not a single 5-minute green candle showed up there, right? Not a single attempt of a hold at that level. So a very avoidable fake out. Very avoidable, right? The only people that get caught in this are emotional, right? This is called emotion. Emotion trading. Oh my God, we're above the level. I need to chase it, right? I can't wait. I need to enter now. This is how you lose money in trading, right? The only people that are longing here are full of emotion, chasing breakouts, hoping that the upside continues, not waiting for confirmation, not waiting for that level to structure higher, and not waiting for it to start to prove to you that it wants to maintain. So that never happened yesterday. This was a full fake out, little liquidity grab for the chasers that are on the market. Very nice, right? Everyone longing here gave liquidity for the move to the downside. So that's just what happens. Got to be able to wait and see for retests. This is why I love the break and retest. This is why I always trade the break and retest. It gives me confirmation. It gives me a clear exit. This chasing here does not give you any type of confirmation. So that happened yesterday. Very nice. We failed back under. We got a very clear rejection end of day, right under that 20,000 level, right? And we see that caused the downside here right now. Now, this morning, there is a very clear level that I want to review with you, and that is 19,750. 19,750 is the previous lows here. It's the previous lows here. It's the previous, I'm going to talk about the previous level, but before that. But now, you can see right here, holds at 750, which are now turning into very clear rejections, right? Very clear rejections under 19,750. Why is this so important? Let's go out to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart on the Nasdaq futures, and I'm going to go ahead and delete these levels for you. Nasdaq futures 4-hour chart, 19,750, which is right here. Right. Let me try to get it right on it. Right there. 19,750. You can see right here. This was a previous major support. This was a major previous structure low that helped this market higher. You have broken that this morning. And below 19,750, there is little to no support, in my opinion, until maybe this 500 area and possibly even the 400, right? If we zoom in on this chart, let's go to the hourly chart, okay? Let's get more time. If we go on the hourly and get more time and we zoom into this right here, right? Zoom into this right here. This is what we're looking at. This is 19,750. This is the level we just broke. Below that level, I think this trades very quickly, to the downside. Very possibly. Very quickly from 19,750, possibly straight down into 19,500, 19,530 area right here. If we break under that, you trade back to these highs right here at 19,400, right? Right here, right here, right here. These are all just vertical moves to the upside. This is a vertical move right here. This is actually a gap on the Nasdaq because of a pre-market. I'm pretty sure this was CPI on the 12th. I'm pretty positive. Let me just double check so I don't spew out false information. That is June 12th. If I go back to the calendar there, that is CPI right here. So June 12th, we had CPI, and we had that FOMC statement that came out. On that day, on June 12th, we had gap ups on the market. We are now back below the 750. And if we start to see this navigate lower with some pressure, I'm going to assume that you give back that gap up. That is back down to here. So that is very interesting today, right? That is very interesting today. And if we stay under 19,750, my assumption is pressure is going to stay on this market down to fill this gap at 19,525, 19,530. Okay? That is my assumption as of right now. If we look at this on the 4-hour chart, we can see that is a very vertical move. That is a gap up move. That's right here. You can see right there, right? Under 750, down to 530. I think that could be a straight down move. So something to watch. That is a very little shelf at 500. I would agree with you there, Matt. So that would be my first target. But I would assume that if you break that shelf, which is a very small shelf, it's only about it's really just a shelf in the after hours. It's not even an intraday shelf. It's just an after hours hold. If you break under that, you're probably coming down to 400. You break under that, you're coming down to 200, right? And so it gets pretty frothy here. We've talked about this, right? We've talked about the froth. There's really no structure over here where we're starting to trade into. This was sort of just frothy upside. So very interesting. I think we've been all over it. I hope you guys have sort of paid attention. Back, if you guys remember, right, back here, maybe a few weeks ago, we had people saying, oh, the market's going to tank while it was going up, trying to guess what's going to happen. You don't need to guess, okay? You can react to what's happening. And so we have very clearly reacted to the breakdowns. We've seen very clear breakdowns, very clear rejections. We've been reacting to this on the downside. So you just react to it intraday, right? So continue to do that. Continue to stay fluid. Continue to stay liquid, right, on your trades. Don't have a bias to any direction, and we can continue to trade these levels. So very nice, 19,750. I'd say if we stay below that today, guys, we can see more downside. If we get back above 750, then I think you can trade back up to this 840 level, right? If we are able to reclaim 750 today, which would be very, very strong, right? That would take a lot, in my opinion. If we can get back above 750 today, then I think you can trade right back up to here around that 840, okay? Just remember, you still have that very clear supply above at 20,000. I would say watch this 840 level, and then I would say watch this 750, okay? 750 right there. Keep an eye on that. If we continue to reject that today, I would look to set up your shorts off 750 today. That would be a very nice spot. Yeah. I would also maybe just put a little level here, right? I'm not that fond of it because it's just a little intraday low, but I think it doesn't hurt, right? It doesn't hurt. Maybe put a little level here, right, at Friday's lows, just so you're aware of it, right? You don't want to walk into the day just fully unaware of that level. So I'd say put a little level there at that Friday low, at that 19,654, right? So be careful there. At 19,654, but if we break below that, we're absolutely going to see that 525 in my opinion. All right, so a little bit of Friday lows. I don't think that's a strong level. I would never long off that, off a little wick low like that on a Friday. I would never be interested in an actual long off that, but what you need to do is you just need to be aware of it if you are short, right? A little bit of awareness if you're short. Understand you're short into Friday's lows. Understand that it could hold. If it does, then you can possibly see a little bit of a relief back into that 750 area. Okay, 750, 650, under 650, you trade into 530. If you get back above 750, that's your one and only option for some possible upside. That's it, right? If you are not over 750, there is zero, right? And I'll say this again. We say this all the time. We've continued to be right about it. There is zero reason to long the market if we are under 750 today. Zero. And I mean that honestly. Right, we've talked about having zero reason to long the market under 20,000. There has never been a reason to long this market under 20,000. There is never a reason to long this market if we're under 19,750. That is totally against the market. There's no reason to be doing that. Do not try to long this market if we are stuck under 19,750. You are battling the bears. You are battling the momentum. You're battling everything. There's no reason to be longing this market under 19,750. If you get above it, there is possibly a reason, right? If you get above it, you can build that case. You could say, all right, we reclaim 750. I like that. Maybe the bull step back in, right, for some opportunity back to the upside. I get that. I could get behind you on that idea. But if you are under 750, there is zero reason to long this market. Okay? Make sure you understand that. Young Bull's been absolutely killing it in the Discord. Congratulations, Young Bull. I want to see what you look like. I can't see your profile picture. Damn it. I want to click on it. Young Bull, crushing it, man. Congratulations. And I appreciate you gifting some subs to the group. All right. QQQ. So, we talked about how important that daily 20 SMA is. We talked about how important that this little shelf here around 486 supply, that 20 SMA supply is. We talked about there's absolutely no reason to long this market if we're under that level, and you can see there has still been no reason to long this market under that level. That has been a major, major rejection point. If we go to the 4-hour chart, we can see that previous high, this previous high, that previous low, and again, that level just causing weakness on the market. So, as long as we're under that 486, 487, we talked about this yesterday, we expect downside, and that is exactly what we're seeing off this major supply level that continues to keep this market weak. Very, very clear. Daily 20 SMA, we talked about how this is the first time in a long time that the QQQ has flipped under the daily 20 SMA, and that is absolutely what's happening, right? We were holding above the daily 20. We were holding above the daily 20. We stayed long. We stayed on the right side of the market, and now we are flipping below it, and we have to adjust to that. You can see now we're under that daily 20. That means short term, I would expect weakness. All right, very nice. Key level today, and such a key level today, is 474. Look at this level right here. 474, 474, 474. If we break below 474 today, maybe a little bit at the 50, maybe a little bit at the 50 at 472, right? A little bit at that 50 SMA at 472. But if we get under that 50 and we get under that 474 today, I don't see much support until 465, right? Maybe a little bit here at 468, maybe a tad bit of support at 468, right? Right where that little shelf is right there. A little bit at 468 possibly. 468.50, 468 zone. But that is such a short-term little level there. I would think it's more likely that we come into that 465, right? 465 right here. You have a little bit at 468.50. But underneath this 474, sorry. Underneath that 474 doesn't look very good. I'll be honest with you. It does not look very good. If I take off the after hours, you can see right here, that's where that gap is. The gap really is under like 471 to 468. So a little bit of a gap there on the after hours, but regardless of the gap, right, that is still low volume action, right? Regardless of the gap, that is still very low volume action below 474, okay? So that's the key today. Are we under 474 yet? No, we're not, right? So before you get horned up today, right, before we get horned up, we need to first break that level, okay? What's stopping the market from doing this? Nothing. There's nothing stopping the market from doing that. So 474 was a major hold level. The market looked like it was going to break it last Friday, right? Didn't the market look like it was going to break 474 last Friday? I would say, right, as we walk into the day and we see the downside come in right into 474, I'm assuming that to a lot of people thought that was going to break, right? It did not, okay? It caused upside right back into 484. So could that happen again? Absolutely, that could happen again. All right, so we need to see weakness below that level to really think that the market's going to start doing that gap fill type move back to that 468.50, back to that 465. We have to see it below. We have to. Okay, so 474, that's the key level today. Can we get a break below it? That is something to be watching. And then we have that daily 50 below, a little bit of support possible there. Just be aware of that around 472. If we get a pop to the upside, watch for that fade at 477. If we get a pop to the upside, watch that fade under 477, right? Right here. Right here. Previous low, previous low, previous low, previous low, into highs. If we get a pop, look for the fade at 477, all right? I'm longing 474. Market's not going to drop 3 to 4% in one day. I don't know how you come up with that. Man, I'm sorry, Josh. That's just doesn't make any sense, brother. That you can't trade off that idea. Just watch the level and trade it, man. You don't need to come up with some type of preconceived, idea that you think's for sure going to happen. If the market breaks under 474, it will drop 3 to 4% in a day, and it has dropped 3 to 4% in a day. There's no doubt about it. So I'd be very careful doing that. I'm not going to try to insult you, but that is not how we trade. No doubt. I hope that you understand why I say that. All right. 55.70. That's the key break here. You guys can see right here. 55.70. Previous low, previous low, previous low. And we are under that level, right? We are under that level, right? 55.70. Now, don't roast Josh. I'm just trying to help him out. Josh, you're a good guy, but I would be very careful with that mindset. Be very careful with that mindset. I'm talking out of experience. I'm talking from the heart. We need to stop, right? I think you didn't mean that exactly, but we have to get that out of our brains. We have to trust the trend. And if the trend is down, I would not try to long these knives, right? I would not try to long these knives. I would say, Josh, if you want to long the market, okay? If you want to long the market today, this is what if you think the market is going to bounce, this is what you look for. You look for the bounce of 474, right? You look for the reclaim over 477, and that would be my long, right? That's where you long the market with confidence, right here. You look for the 474 to hold, right? Let that solidify, right? Let that 474 come in. Let it move us higher, right? Get some of that buying stepping in, and then look for that hold over 477. If you can get that, that would be my long right here. This is the confident long. This is the long that really goes along with the upside. The chat's a little brutal sometimes. Sorry about that, Josh. But yeah, that's my honest opinion, right? Let that 474 come in. You don't need to long it there. Let it come in. Let it get above 77. Then long it here. You have confidence here that we just bounced off 74, and you can get that pop to the upside. Okay? That's my honest opinion, and it's all love. But I got to when I see something, I got to point it out, right? I'm trying to help. We got to be careful just longing these knives to the downside in a downside market, okay? If the market was still like this, okay? If the market was in this trend, I would say, Josh, you know what? You're probably right, right? You're probably right. I don't think it's going to drop either. Let's look for that long off that demand low. But there has been a very obvious change here, okay? There has been some type of a change in the price action. It's not like it was in June, okay? This was a very strong June. That's when I would be very confident in that sort of pullback long. I am not a pullback long trader right now, guys, all right? I'm not. I was a pullback long trader during this. I have changed that mentality here. Until something proves to me that pullback longs are working, I am not going to look for pullback longs, right? So just be careful there. Something has absolutely changed here slightly, and I'd just be aware of that, okay? All right, let me move on. S&P 500. So 55.45, 55.40 area right here, 55.42. You can see that demand low. That is Friday's lows. This is a must hold, right? That is a must hold. 55.42. If we break below Friday's lows, no bueno, right? No bueno. So you can see right here, that's that Friday low, 55.42. That's a must hold level today. The level that is causing rejections, causing downside is right here, 55.70, 55.70. 55.70, 55.70. Look at that level today, creating further downside. Previous low, previous low, previous low into highs. That is bearish, right? That is bearish. This was our level yesterday at 56.30. That caused beautiful rejections intraday. 56.30, previous lows into a break and retest rejection. That is gorgeous. We failed back under the daily 20, which is no bueno. And you can see right here, 55.70 previous all-time highs, right? We are failing back below. So if I zoom out, let me zoom out and show you that 55.70 level. Let me go ahead and show you why this is so important. 55.70, in my opinion, is really that previous all-time high. I know there's a little wick above it, but we can see right here, this little previous all-time high around 55.70 that really sort of held this market down prior to this breakout is where we're getting stuck below right now. We are back below this structure high. That is weakness. I would fully expect to come back down to here on the ES, guys. I really would. I really don't even think I want to. I mean, I'm going to keep this level on my charts, the 55.42. I think it's pretty much a pointless level. This is what we're going to trade in right here. See this structure? This is 55.70 highs to 55.05 lows. I truly believe you are going to see this move down into the 55.05 level, right? Down into that 50 SMA, down into that structure low, right? You can see where this was channeling and structuring. I would expect us to come down into that 55.05 on the ES if we stay below 55.07, right? If we stay below 55.70, sorry. If we stay below 55.70, we should see 55.05, okay? You can see, look how perfect, and I mean perfect. Look at this. Look at how perfect this break and retest is on the ES. That is very, very pretty. Take a look at this right here. Would you just look at it? Just take a look at it. Look at this. Previous low, previous low, previous low, break, retest, rejection. That is sexy, okay? That is exactly what makes you so confident in that there could be more downside. Right? Look at just how perfect the previous structure lows up here broke and turned into the exact rejection spot. That is very confidence inspiring for more downside. That would have not happened if this market was strong. This would have reclaimed. This would have got back above. It would have reclaimed the daily 20. It would have held above, and it would have pushed higher again. Right? That's what was happening back here. Okay? That's what was happening back here. You'd get pullbacks, but they would hold, right? And they would pull back higher. This is different, okay? This is different. This is not the same. This is a previous low that has turned into a major rejection on the 4-hour chart. That is very, very important, okay? Please pay attention to that. Los Franklin, inflation coffee money, $15 coffee. I love it. Appreciate that, Los. So that's pretty sick stuff. I'm not going to lie, guys, on the S&P 500 futures. That's very, very clear. And I'd be making sure you pay attention to that. If you're underneath 55.07, I'd expect weakness into that 55.05. And the only level in my eyes that can hold us higher today is possibly, which I don't really trust at all, but the only level that possibly finds something is 55.42. Which is Friday's lows, okay? If we hold Friday's lows, maybe there's a chance of some last-ditch effort upside action right off that Friday low. That is possible. I don't think that's a strong level, so I would never long off of it. I would more look for rejections back at 55.70. If we get a pop, I'd look for those fails at 70. And if we get under that Friday low, I would look for a break and retest of Friday's lows for further downside continuation. Okay? Very nice. Hopefully that helped you guys. I mean, it's pretty clear, right? There's some very, very clear stuff going on here. Let's go out to the 4-hour chart. Let's see if that break and retest showed on the SPY as well. I think it did. Right? Take a look at this. What is that? That's our 556.50. Take a look at that right there. Right? See that? right there. Previous low, previous low, previous low. That held this market higher 3 times. What did it do? Break, retest, bam. Right there. Right? Look how clean that is. So, again, that's why I'm confident in my analysis. Because yesterday's move, that rejection is extremely telling. And if we can't trust that, if we can't trust this, we can't trust anything, right? If we can't trust this and understand what's going on here and understand the importance of this little break and retest rejection, if we're not going to go ahead and trust that on the technicals, then you might as well not even trade, right? There's got to be something you trust here. That's the only way you're going to set up trades and have any kind of conviction. You got to be able to trust something like this. Maybe it proves to be wrong, but you got to, sometimes roll with that analysis. So that's very nice. That's very clear. Love to see that. That's very confidence inspiring. Again, as I said on the ES, next level to watch, 548. 548, you guys can see right here. I'll show you the 548 level. That is right here. 548, 548, 548 on the SPY. That is Friday lows. That's 548 on the SPY. Now, that's a level that could hold this market higher. I believe this looks a little bit stronger than the ES here. 548. This is a very major previous high and low, and that Friday low. So there is potential of a hold at 548 today, guys, okay? Make sure you know that. Be aware of that 548. There's definitely some support there. So that's something you're definitely watching today on the SPY. Under 548, I think you trade right back down to these lows here at 542. Under 548, I think you got about 6 points of downside right between this channel that was trading previously, right? Right here, between 548 and 542. If you break under that 548 today with some strength, I think you trade back down to this 542 down here. If we go into the short-term time frames, let's go ahead and take a look at that 15-minute chart, and you can see just how perfect that failure yesterday at 557 was. Previous lows, 557, absolutely perfect. Previous low into rejections. We're under that 550, 555, and the previous all-time high at 551, 1, 2, 3, into rejections. Previous support, previous support, previous support, into rejections. Beautiful. If we stay under 551, there is no way we're going higher. If this stays as a rejection point, we are going to continue to see weakness on this market. If we get above 551, there is a chance of a relief move. That is the only chance of a relief move here, is if we reclaim 551 and we get back to the upside. If we do not reclaim 551, weakness stays in this market. If we break under 548, we move lower aggressively. Okay? 548 is your level to watch today. That's Friday's lows. If we break and hold below that, we're going down. Okay? Very nice. IWM, you had to hold 222 on the IWM. I don't think you are. We talked about that 219 though yesterday. Who remembers us talking about 219 on the IWM yesterday? If you did, I know a lot of you guys in the chat made like 2, 3, 400% on this trade, so congratulations. If any of you guys from the live stream took this trade as well, congrats as well. We talked about that 219 break and retest, and man, did that set up a nice trade yesterday. We pushed higher into this little 224 supply high. We can see we're rejecting that right now, and you can see right here, 222. I really needed to see that hold. If you do not hold over 222 on IWM, you are going to move lower. Okay? Under 222 on IWM, I think you will move lower, back down into that 219. Okay? Under 222, I think you go to 219. 219, once again, could be a very interesting long spot. Keep an eye out for that. If you break under 222, if you break under 219, then you will trade back down into that 216. Okay? Press that like button. 838, 800 likes. Press that like button. All right, let's get into some stocks. Tesla. Let's get into some stocks. Let's start with Tesla. 230. 230. You know what? I don't have time. I was going to pull up my E-Trade account for you. I have some Tesla puts in there to protect those shares that I bought. Those hopefully look good today. We shall see. I don't know. I think it's beaten the expected move slightly, so looks pretty good. But this 230 level, you guys can see right here, 230, 230, 230, right? If we stay under 230 on Tesla, guys, I think you are looking at more downside. Under 230, more downside on Tesla. Next level that I'd be watching on Tesla is 218. 218 stems back on the 4-hour chart, back to here, right here. 218, that's your next demand level. If you break under 218, you're coming back down to that 208. 208, 205 area. I would call it anywhere between 208, 205. That would be your next zone right here. 208, 205. That's your previous low, previous high, and that level right there at the daily 200 SMA. That's where I think you can move back to if this market stays weak and if Tesla stays under 230. I think you can go back to right here at 218 and right here at 208. Okay? 218, 208, 205, your next demands. If you hold under 230, then you are going to see more downside on Tesla. Nvidia, I don't want to say it too early, okay? I don't want to talk too early here, but if Nvidia goes to 115, guys, I think I'm going to be up about $100,000 on a trade. So let's not count our chickens before they hatch. But I'm pretty sure. Well, let's go ahead and calculate it real quick. I have 100. Hold on. I have 122 puts. So if it's at 115, that's $7 minimum. $700 minimum. All right, so at 115, that would be a $70,000 profit, or $70,000 worth at 115 on those. And then in my E-Trade account, which I'll pull up right now. I hope you guys enjoy looking at this. I mean, I don't know if anyone else does this kind of stuff, so I hope you appreciate it. On my E-Trade account, let me go ahead and open that up. Hold on here. I'll just go ahead and show you on my phone. I told you guys I was confident in that Nvidia trade. Did I not? Did I not talk about it yesterday? Did I not say that I'm very confident in the 125 rejection play? I'm sure you remember that. And then I have 115 120 puts. So that would be, I mean, at 115, those would be like worth like, I mean, like 57,000. So it could be 100,000. We'll see. Here it is right here. I told you guys I was confident. There you go. All right. Dude sounds like a goof. Get out of here, beast. Get out. You don't know. All right. So, yes, I did, Jay. I sure did. We talked about it on the live stream yesterday. Talked about it right here. July 26th, 125 puts on Nvidia last week. We added to it in the Discord yesterday. Said the group I was adding to this trade. Guys, it's not that expensive to have 100 of those contracts, okay? 100 contracts on those Nvidias is like $10,000. It's not like $1 million to take that trade. It's like a $15,000 position. That's very normal for what I do. You guys have seen me make some big swing trades when I'm confident. This is not just some type of out of left field trade. This is just a confident swing trade. All right. So why did I take that trade? Well, we'll make a video about it, of course. But first of all, just really quickly, we talked about this yesterday in the live stream. We talked about Nvidia pushing back into 125, pushing back into these lows, pushing back into those lows. If you remember this, I hope you do, because we were talking about it. Previous lows. We talked about Nvidia coming back into that level for a break and retest, right? And we saw that rejection come in, right? So that's it, right? That's the trade. You got to go for it. I went for it. I trusted my analysis. I wasn't afraid to take a loss there, right? Obviously, it's a big size trade, but I've had the liberty to be able to do that. Everyone, we'll get there eventually. Everyone gets there eventually. Obviously, I've been trading for 10 years, guys, so eventually I've gotten to this point where I can take 10, 15, $1,000 trades. So previous highs into low, or previous highs into lows, break, retest. We started to see failures up here yesterday, and I was very confident in those puts, right? Up at that 125. Also took some back around last week a little bit. Back on Monday. Was opening some on that idea back on last week. So just sort of getting myself into these puts with that 125 rejection, and I'm very happy to see how that worked out, right? If we go to the daily chart, we can see right here. This is a nice, actually, let's go to the 4 hour. All right, look at this little 4 hour chart. This is just a structure low that's turning into a new structure high. We talk about this all the time. This is not anything that's different, right? This is no different than what we talk about on this live stream every single day. It's just a matter of having confidence in the idea and playing the trade, right? Right here, right? We talk about this all the time. Previous lows into new highs. That's a break and retest rejection. It is no different than anything else that I've ever traded. It's the same exact thing. The only difference is I went in with confidence and I went in with some size. So that's it. So 125 previous lows into a beautiful high. Daily 20 SMA rejection on top of that. Beautiful. And so we're seeing that downside come in. Now, today, Nvidia needs to stay below 120. If it can stay below 120, I think you can slide, right? If it can stay below 120, I think it can slide. That would be very key. Under 120, I think you can see more downside. If you get back above 120, then I think it can maintain and maybe trade between this 120 and 122. 122, very clear previous highs that attempted to hold yesterday that we failed in the after hours, right? So 122, very key. 1, 2, 3 highs into lows. We failed it. We dropped, right? Now, I think 120 is your next level. You tried to hold it here. You dropped. If you stay under 120, I think you see more downside. Your next downside move, in my eyes, would probably be down into that 50 SMA, right around that 117.50, okay? 117.50 would be that next level, right? That's right here. That's right here. That's right here. That's your 50 SMA. That's possibly where you see Nvidia down to. If it breaks below that level, you come back to the 115, okay? And the reason why I've been so interested in this Nvidia downside, even though I love this stock, is look at that frothy upside. And man, I'm not going to say anything yet, but if this really starts to weaken, there is some very weak upside here, right? Very low volume upside on Nvidia here. Look at this. Under this 115, there is nothing until 106. Under this 106, there is zero until that 97. I truly think Nvidia should be back to here, guys. That's really where I think it would be. That's the healthy move. I'm not going to lie. That is the healthy trade for Nvidia, is right here. That's what the chart should look like, right? The chart should look like this. Come back down, hold here, new highs, right? Come back down, hold here, new highs. That's what the chart should look like to me. That's a healthy chart. This is a very healthy pullback on Nvidia. There's no doubt. I don't know if it comes fully back to here because Nvidia is just Nvidia. So I think it might be tough for it to come back to 97. But that's where I really think Nvidia should come back down to, is these previous highs and then try to hold this level for that next push to new highs, right? This would be, I'd go in 50,000 in longs here, right? That would be my next huge, huge entry point, would be 97. But we shall see. So that's my Nvidia trade. Real quick, let's continue. We're running out of time. Sorry about that, guys. I just figured that would be a good little thing to show you guys today. I hope you appreciate that. 153 on AMD. That is very clear. You can see right here, 153, 153, 153. into rejections. If AMD stays under 153 today, I would expect further downside into that 149, right? Right here. Maybe the 150. It could be the 150, but I don't really see much long-term support at 150. It's probably like it's 150, 149 area. I'd be careful of that. But yeah, if you break under this Friday low, that's where I think you can get that next drop, 150.62 area. That's right here. Let me go ahead and put that on your charts. 150.62. If you break and hold under that, I think you can see that further downside. As long as you're under this 153, I like that downside move. All right. TSM, I would watch TSM underneath 166.66. If you stay under that level, I'd assume you trade back down to that 163.50. Okay? If you get pops, look for fades at 172. SMCI is at a huge level today. I would make sure you're paying attention to this one. If SMCI drops 760 today, you can absolutely see the death of SMCI a little bit. So watch SMCI 760. This is a major 4-hour low, right? Look at how important this 4-hour low is on SMCI. You get a rejection under 760 on SMCI, I think you trade back down to this 700 area. Look at this, right? You can see, I think you definitely could see a trade back down to the 700 low. If you break this 760, I'd say you're coming down to that 700. Apple, been a very strong name, even with this downside in the market, but I'm starting to see a little bit of a flip, right? You're starting to see just sort of a lower high form here, right? A little bit of a lower high. You can see this previous low. Look at these highs, guys. This is perfect break and retest action. Previous major lows into very clear highs, right? That is a break and retest rejection. So if Apple is underneath that 228, I think the weakness is in. I would expect Apple to trade back to 220. That's where I think Apple should come back down to. Apple should likely retest this 4-hour high right around this 220 area, okay? So if you can get a short on Apple around 228, I like that idea. Let's go to Google, Amazon, Microsoft real quick. Google, oof. Oh, that's really dropping. Okay. Google, man. Damn. Carmine, ¿qué pasa? What's up, Carmine? 175. Carmine has a Lambo. He doesn't talk to me anymore, you know? Too busy driving his Lambo around. So 175, you guys can see right here, 175. Google can hold that level. Be careful of that level. If you break under 175, I think you can drop lower into 170. All right. If you get under 175, I'd say Google to 170. If you hold 175, then it's very possible that you can get that pop back into 180. Okay. 170, big level there on Google today. Amazon. Oh, what a fail on Amazon. Amazon underneath that 190 level, big fail at that level. You're now under that 185 as well. You guys can see right here, under that 185 as well. If Amazon stays under 185, right here, 185.50, if you stay under this level, I would assume you trade back down into this 180 here. So I'd watch that 185.50. Meta. The last swing trade that we took yesterday, you guys can see right here. We opened this yesterday in the Discord, right here. Meta, 1224. We took a Meta, July 26th, 485 put off the break and retest of 490. Right there, right there, right. That was our trade that we entered around midday yesterday. You guys can see right here. Why did I take that trade? Well, once again, it's the same exact thing. You can see once again, it is previous lows into a break and retest rejection. All right. It is the same exact thing every single time. Every trade that you guys see me take is the exact same reasoning. All right. It's the exact same reasoning. 490, previous major lows. It has the 100 and the 50 daily SMA sitting there. We get a drop below it. We let the thing pop back to the upside. We start to spot rejections at the retest level. We take our entry, understanding risk reward, right? Risk reward. Why not take that trade, right? Previous major low, break and retest rejection of 490, 495. Start to see those rejections step in. Think about risk reward here and take the trade. Yesterday we took that, and today This was at 60,000 when we, just to let you know, this was at 60K when we started this live stream. Today, we're up $7,200 on it. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you start to just, let's ignore the money for a second, because I myself don't love doing that. So I apologize for anyone that's sort of getting a little bit upset with me about flaunting that profit. I'm just very happy about it. So let's take a second and think about why. The why behind it, the break and retest strategy, the rejection of those levels. We talked about this trade on the live stream yesterday. So go watch yesterday's live stream. Go watch yesterday's live stream about Meta and Nvidia. That's what I challenge you to do right now. Go to yesterday's live stream, right? Go watch what we talked about on Meta and Nvidia. Just go and just skip right to it. Skip right to that part. This is before we open these trades, right? Before we had any, well, I had Nvidia, but before we opened Meta, and before I was very confident on Nvidia, before I was getting into Nvidia heavily, go listen to what we talked about yesterday on the live stream. Go back, watch that, and pay attention to what we said. And then you will see how it worked out in today's live stream. Just go watch yesterday's and come watch today's, and hopefully that is a nice little way to put together how you build that trade idea and how you stay confident on it. So I hope you enjoy it. Carmine, shout out to you, brother. Let's link up again, Carmine. Where you been? All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love.